Hello. So back to basics. StreamYard needs a subscription to play all my music, which I'm not willing to pay, uh, because I don't do very much live streams at the moment. Maybe in the future. But here is a video that I have been waiting on deliver, and it's about a guy called Eric Peterson. I'm not exposing him in any way. He is very much public with his name, and he is an atheist like me. He is I don't know what his education is exactly, but no, he is an environmental biologist, I guess. This is his channel. Now, nothing against his work when it comes to debating creationists, because that's what he does. He also has a book or two. I think it's funny that his book is named Facts That Aren't True, where I'm gonna actually debunk his bullshit right now about things that he thinks is true but are not. Anyway, so here the problem with him is not his work, but his stance on Israel Palestine, and he's a pro Philistine idiot. Now, the background is that I started following him because I was tired of all the Christian idiots going around and saying a lot of stupid shit. And when you are in the environment of pro-Israel, you do get a lot of right-wing people around you, and a lot of them are very much fundamentalist Christians. I guess a lot of fundamentalist Jews too, whatever that means, because there's so many different variants of Jews. But especially the pro-American Christian kind of right wingers, and they have a lot of stupid things to say other than what I agree with them on. So I started to listen to Pat Peterson just to understand the rebuttals and debunking of the creationist myths, and I think it's important. I think it's important, but I think it's more important to understand that these guys who come up with good intentions, like Planet Peterson, does fall for the blood libel, the Jew hatred, and the idiotic Hamas propaganda that is just repeated over and over. And what pissed me off was he had a Ask Me Anything section. I came up and asked him about Israel Palestine, and he told me to go fuck myself because I said there is no genocide. And he says they're deliberately shooting kids. Deliberately shooting kids. And then told me I can go fuck myself. Now, after that, I found a little gem on his video that I'm going to respond to. And that is him actually responding to as the Asmongold debacle that happened a couple of months back, almost a year back now. Now, this is about Asmongold, a gamer who basically in the beginning said fuck Palestine, and then retracted his statement because of the backlash. Apostate Prophet and David Wood actually went through this when this was happening, but Pat Peterson, of course, Eric Peterson, no relation to Jordan Peterson, by the way. They are two different people. Pat Peterson just had to talk about this one and made a mess of it, and I wanted to respond to it. So I think we're gonna go through the video first, and then I'm gonna respond to Israel deliberately killing children allegation. So let's go with the Asmongold Gold first. So I don't know how exactly this will work, but I hope it's not going to be a copyright infringement or anything. Just wanted to show what Platt Peterson here says.
Yeah, so Osmongold. I know basically nothing about the guy. There's just it's been this running.
It's funny because it would be better if you said I know absolutely nothing about the Israel-Palestine war or Israel-Gaza war. It would be a better statement. Again, this idiot has a book out that's called Facts That Aren't True. Okay? Just remember that.
Joke that my friend Globe Man looks like him, which I'm not making
Who
that
cares?
comparison anymore. The
Who
only
cares?
story I ever heard about him is, and it was in his own words, and I have no idea if this was supposed to be real or not, but he said that he used to use a dead rat as an alarm
Who
clock
cares? Nobody cares about this
because
shit.
in the morning
Yeah,
would wake him up. So
shut
that
up.
was his alarm clock. And it
Nobody cares.
appears he's being canceled a little bit for what he said. I'm not going to play.
And this is the problem. Asmongold showed spot. He's a gamer. He's a streamer. He's a gamer. He gets canceled for saying what he actually believes. Whether like, here's the thing. This motherfucker called Hassan Piker. He goes on 24/7 and gets so many likes because he just repeats the blood libel of Jews. Saying that Jews are bloodthirsty. And this idiot Eric Peterson here is gonna do the same thing. He basically said it to me. Oh no, no, they're killing kids deliberately, right? Just a fucking blood libel, and he just repeats it, spreads it. And somebody like Hassan Piker goes around and do it all the time, and does not get any pushback. But Asmund Gold says, I think he said, "Fuck the Muslims, they're crazy," or something like that. He gets canceled, he gets in trouble, then he has to retract his statements.
The clip, and I'm not going to give you his entire quote, but basically he's saying he doesn't give a fuck, or he's not going to cry a river
Yeah.
for people who are getting genocided when genocide is in their charter. So Osman, I don't.
So this is a very good thing to go through because I agree with Asmongold in that sense. You don't start a war, but you want to kill everybody in a neighboring nation and then cry like little bitches once shit hits the fan and say we are the victims. It doesn't work like that, right? And again, why do you cry for Nazis? Yes, the Gazans are modern day Nazis. Basically, everything they do, they take from the book of Nazis. Even the fact that they have put this in your head that Jews are evil is from Goebbels. Repeat a lie 1,000 times, it becomes true. Exactly what the Nazis did. Even that. So yeah, I'm not gonna cry for a bunch of Nazis getting killed. Asmongold is, I don't know if he's based or not, but I mean he's not wrong on this one. To be honest, like it's not about Asmongold.
I don't know if you knew this, but the children didn't write that charter. By all means,
What?
blow to.
What do you mean children didn't write the charter? What are you talking about?
Children didn't write that charter, but
Okay,
the
so here he is again
people
about the blood libel. The Jews love to drink kids' blood, and Jews are evil.
who are getting
Jews want to kill kids.
genocided when genocide is in their charter. So Osman, I don't know if you knew this, but the children didn't write that charter.
I don't know if you know this, Mister Asshole, but the Jews are not the one killing kids, right? You know who are killing kids? The Gazans, and I'm gonna go through it more in the future here. Uh, he's trying to say that Israel are killing kids deliberately. That's basically what he's saying. He's going with this. Oh, all the Jews, they want to kill the kids. Again, it's a dense populated area where Hamas, and let's be honest, the Gazans using their children as martyrs, as shaheeds. They go to heaven. They're using child soldiers. They're using children as human shields. and they set them in harm's way. They're killing their own people, including their own children, and then blame it on the IDF. That's what's going on. And this guy doesn't know jack shit about this because he only sees what Hamas want him to see. Right? When I say Hamas, I mean Al Jazeera, I mean the UNRWA, I mean the UN, I mean all of it. Right? Estimated numbers is about 9,000 adolescents, 18 and under, people have been killed in the war so far. About 60,000 killed. About half of them are civilians. Okay? And that's 18. That's everything from a baby up to 18. A lot of these people are, sad to say this, Hitlerjugend. You would compare it to Hitlerjugend. Some of them are just people caught in the crossfire, and some of them have been killed by Hamas themselves. Some of them are deliberately put in harm's way so that they can blame Hamas, they can blame the IDF for it and sell you the numbers, sell you this image of them being victims. And you are dumb enough to fall for it, even though you have a book out called Facts That Aren't True. Like, you can't write this shit.
Order. By all
You can't write this level of hypocrisy.
means, blow to smithereens every member of Hamas. Have them die in horrible
Yeah, but again, okay, let's just let him go finish this, what he wants to say.
ways. But not
I'm gonna rewind and let him finish that segment.
the children didn't write that charter. By all means, blow to smithereens every member of Hamas.
Yeah, this is just how ignorant he is about this war. He doesn't understand that Hamas are using their own children as a propaganda victim machine, saying, "Oh, they're killing our kids. They're killing our kids." Again, once we're happy killing kids, like Kafir Bibas, and send it to the family as a corpse, strangle the little baby. He was just a year old or so, with their own hands, send it as a cruel joke back to the family after the husband was a hostage for a time and they killed his wife and his other two children with him, right? That's one family. Absolutely brutal. They were absolutely innocent. They were not part of the army. They were civilians executed, slaughtered, captive, humiliated, malnourished. This is what we're talking about. And he's gonna say, "Oh, by all means, go in and kill all of Hamas." You idiot! You do understand that there's a big confusion right now because, and by the last 2 years, because Hamas have a dirty tactic of taking off their military uniforms and pretend to be civilians whenever it suits them. Right? They absolutely hide behind civilians, blending in, so it's getting harder to target them. And therefore, you have collateral damage. And even with the dense popularity area, and even though we know it's going to be collateral damage, this low amount of collateral damage is more than what America has been able to uh, accomplish during all of their urban warfare conflicts. Right? This guy doesn't know jack shit about it when he says, "Oh, go and kill Hamas," but don't go in and kill the civilians. When he doesn't understand that the civilians are put in harm's way not because of IDF, but by Hamas. So he doesn't know jack shit about it from the get go.
Have them die in horrible ways.
Yes, yes. Please tell me, Planet Peterson, how exactly are IDF gonna acquire that? How are they gonna go and acquire killing Hamas and the supporters, by the way, which amongst them are a lot of civilians, when they have their operations in schools, their operations in hospitals, underground in tunnels where they hold their hostages, in aid distribution centers? Please tell me, Planet Peterson, if you were the military leader, how would you go about it? This is the problem. This guy is very smart and talented when it comes to his field of work, no doubt about it. But don't come and talk about shit you know jack shit about. Please don't. Just shut the fuck up. And if somebody like me wants to come up and actually explain things to you so you can be corrected, maybe take that chance instead of being a fucking dumbass pro-Palestinian asshole.
But not kids, and not women, and not men who just simply live there. Then he goes
Yeah, yeah. Just simply live there. That one, number one, Hamas was elected by popular vote. Then they killed off all all the resistance. All the people who were against them were killed. The people who are against them are shut down or killed. Yahya Sinwar, the guy who died like a dog, who was the leader of Hamas, he was nicknamed the Butcher of Khan Yunis. Why was he nicknamed Butcher of Khan Yunis? Because he killed his own people. Anybody who was deemed a spy, anybody who was deemed a spy for the IDF, for Israel, no, not deemed, suspected a spy, killed on the spot. And again, the people who just live there, this is a myth because again, a lot of them support what what Hamas are doing. The people who speak up against it gets killed. The problem is that this guy doesn't know jack shit about the conflict again. But yeah, the people who just live there. How do you go in and eliminate Hamas, who is embedded in a society? How would you have done World War II invading Germany? Would you say, oh well, collateral damage, therefore, let the Nazis be? Would you do that?
on to make this brilliant argument that the Palestinians would be doing the same thing. So he's not making
Yes, the Palestinians would be doing worse than that if you saw what they would do on one day, October 7th, if they had a chance. One day, they killed 1,200 people in a couple of hours in the most brutal way, and then took about 200 or so, 250, I don't know exactly, 250, 300 people hostage, which some of them still in Gaza right now. And those people who got released, none of them have actually good things to say about how they were treated. They have been, all of them have been absolutely mistreated. Some of them have even died in captivity. So don't give me this bullshit of, oh, well, this is just a conspiracy when we have seen it unfold in front of our eyes in our lifetime.
the argument that they started it.
Yes, yes, they have started. They have started it. And you know what? I think it was. Uh, no, it was. What's his name? I forgot his name. The guy on TV who is he's a psychologist of some kind. Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil. So Dr. Phil said, and he had Mossab Hassan Yusuf on, the prince, the son of Hamas, who is an ex Hamas operative, turned to the IDF side, who exposes what Hamas is doing. Right? Dr. Phil said, "If it's wrong, it's wrong. I don't care what happened in history," and it's true. What Hamas did October 7th, no matter what the historical context is, even though the Palestinian history context is absolute bullshit from start to finish, but what they did to start this war was absolutely wrong. And Israel has every right to make sure that they will not do something like that again because Hamas has vouched that they would do this if they get the chance over and over and over until Israel is gone. So, every single right to do so.
He's saying, yes, what's being done is terrible, but they're just as bad.
Yes, yes, no. Again, Palestinians are worse. Not just they are just as bad, they're worse. And IDF is not bad. And you thinking they're bad shows me that you have this Jew hatred idiotic thing in your brain.
When you make this argument, what you're saying is we are equal to them. Everything that you outline, everything that you lay out about how terrible they are, and then when you put it that way, all you're doing is saying we're the same as them.
No, no. You see, this is a straw man. Again, they are defending themselves so that Hamas will never do this again. And they go into an urban area in a warfare in a warfare that they know is gonna get bloody. And you know what? It seems like this guy and a lot of pro-Palestinian assholes right now don't understand what war is. They don't understand what war is. They don't understand that when you go inside a war zone, there will be casualties. They don't understand collateral damage. They don't understand the rules of engagement. They don't understand that that the people that they're going against are not as honorable in combat as the rules of engagement entails for soldiers of the IDF. And the double standards of, well, IDF has to uphold the rules of conflict because it's a powerful nation, but somehow the the terrorist Hamas doesn't, the Gazans doesn't, is a bigotry of low expectations.
That's not my claim, but that is what you're saying. I can
No, that's not what he's saying. That's a straw man. That's your interpretation of this conflict because you know jack shit about it. Because you want to portray Palestinians as victims and Jews as evil.
understand the idea. It's hard to stomach, but
It's hard to
that
stomach
you
your
would
bullshit.
drop an enormous bomb on a building that
Uh,
you know the uh, I don't know, like all of the top members of a terrorist group are in that building. And like there's a couple janitors in there and there's like the secretary that works in the building and they're going to be killed as a result of that. That sounds absolutely terrible.
yeah, so this is this is actually this is weird because this was 9 months ago. At the time that he made this video, the IDF has already been committing into Gaza with ground forces, with troops, boots on the ground, and not carpet bombing Gaza. They bombed houses and structures, military goals that were civilian targets as well, because Hamas loves to hide in those at the start of this war, but they haven't for a long time. Well, maybe they have once or twice if they know that like this is a strike target that this is where the Hamas household operative is, and they have to go inside, but it's booby trapped, and therefore they want to blow it up first. There, there is always a chance that there are civilians in there. Yes, however, whose responsibility is it? Is the question. Is it IDF's responsibility, or is it the Gazans, the Palestinians, the Hamas operatives' responsibility to make sure that the civilians get out unharmed? Or is it that they rather withhold that there are children inside so that they can get killed when IDF goes inside and then blame it on IDF? Which one do you think is more likely, Mr. Idiot Peterson? I think the latter is more likely. And we've seen it. We've seen it many times. And I'm going to read an article that actually highlights this after I'm done with this guy. Now, he's talking about things that like the carpet bombing and how that's despicable and stuff like that. Carpet bombings are not happening. What's happening is the IDF has boots on the on the ground, and they, because every single inch of the map is booby trapped by Hamas. They have tunnels that goes down about 40 meters below the surface. They have to be very careful, and they have to disarm the explosives. So a lot of the explosives, again, blame it on Hamas because they don't care if children get stuck in the explosive and it accidentally blows somebody up. But that's just one point.
It's understandable, but the collateral damage has not been skewed overwhelmingly toward the bad guys that we're trying to
Yes,
kill.
yes, it has. Yes, it has. And him saying that it hasn't shows me that he doesn't know jack shit about this conflict. Again, about 20,000 or so Hamas operative has been killed by the Gaza Health Ministries themselves, which is a Hamas outlet, by the way. Now, which is something that's very odd is that Hamas themselves have said that we cannot accommodate exactly how many civilians, no, sorry, how many operatives have been killed in battle, but somehow they can accommodate for the 40,000 uh, dead civilians on the ground without any problem. I think that's very odd. But whatever, 22-1, right? It's a 2-1 ratio in an urban warfare that Hamas started, where Hamas do not care about the civilian population, kill their own civilian population, don't care about the kids, using kids as child soldiers as well. Now, with all the confusion of war, that's not a bad ratio. And to say that it's deliberately, because that's what he's always trying to combat, that Jews deliberately kill children, that is what's despicable here.
Get to, it's been overwhelmingly skewed at
No, it hasn't.
people who didn't do anything wrong.
No, no, it hasn't. Just like, I know I don't present much evidence when I talk, but I'm gonna at least show a few articles here from what he's saying to show him that he's full of shit. But I would love to see his his evidence for what he just said. Right? I want to see his evidence for what he just said. I promise you that everything that he's gonna bring up is gonna be from UNRWA, the UN, Al Jazeera, which is all basically boiled down to Hamas, so that therefore must be true.
You may disagree with that, which is why I'm going to do this. I want you to read this and just think about what.
Let's see what he says. Is it anyway rational to expect that after Palestine has attacked us for more than half a century, that we will then leave her to live in security and peace? You may then dispute that all the above does not justify aggression against civilians for crimes they did not commit and offenses in which they did not partake. The Palestinian people are the ones who choose their government by way their own free will, a choice which stems from their agreement to its policies. Thus, the Palestinian people have chosen, consented to, and affirmed their support for the continuous killing, torture, and punishment of the Jewish people. The Palestinian people have the ability and choice to refuse the policies of the government and even to change it if they want. This is why the Palestinian people cannot be innocent of all the crimes committed by Hamas. Again, what is wrong with this statement is the question, because I agree with it almost to 100%. Now, just if you if you if you switch out Palestine with Nazi Germany and the German people, then it would make sense. The only reason it doesn't make sense in the minds of idiots like Mr. Peterson here is because they have been fed this lie that Palestinians are victims, which they are not. Okay, what I disagree with here is that the Palestinians have the ability and choice to refuse the policies of their government and even to change it if they want. Because it's true that they elected Hamas and then Hamas killed anybody who was against them. But the indoctrination, and I think this is the biggest evil in Gaza and the Palestinian people, the indoctrination of children to hate Jews, to kill Jews, to hate the West, kill the West, to be a martyr, to be a shaheed, to be killed in battle as a young boy, to make their parents proud. That is very much a mind virus that is settling in all over the Palestinian world, right? Even the West Bank, but especially in Gaza, where they have been trained and taught to do this. So it's very hard to change that from within. And therefore, it needs to be something from an outside movement to go in and stop this, just like they did in Nazi Germany, right? Guys, this is basically Nazism on steroids in a very dense populated area. And those people who want change, they cannot speak up. They're afraid to speak up because they get killed. So I don't agree that they can change it if they want because they made a mistake. Well, this is comparable to Iran in a sense, where the Iranian people made a mistake, or the previous generation made a mistake, and today the new generation have to pay for it. Difference is, of course, that Iranians today are not brainwashed to the degree that the Gazans are, because most young Iranians no longer want to be associated with Islam. But here, it's so dense populated, and of course, war all the time, and just endless bloodshed and criminality and violence. It makes something to you. So it needs intervention from outside. So this is what I disagree with, that it can change from outside. Otherwise, what's wrong with this statement? I want to hear what he's going to say here.
whether or not you agree with it. I'm only going to leave this up here for a little bit, so pause to read
Okay, so what do you say again?
it. I'm only going to do this. I want you to read this and just think about whether or not you agree with it. I'm only going to leave this up here for a little bit, so pause to read. This is word for word the letter Osama bin Laden wrote to justify attacking America.
Ah, I see, I see. Very clever. Let's see where this goes.
All I did was replace United States, Israel, Jews with Palestinian and Hamas.
Right. So because you agree with it, then now you do exactly what Osama bin Laden did. This is a very dirty tactic of him, because as I just showed you, you can replace it with Nazism, and then it would make sense too, right? Now, Osama bin Laden, the problem with Osama bin Laden is that he's trying to justify aggression against Islam. Okay, so in Osama bin Laden's letter, it's a letter against America, saying that they are aggressing against Islam. But what Osama bin Laden, of course, doesn't tell you is that all these people that he says are in the Ummah, in the Muslim community within Islam, that America attacked, were basically just terrorists and doing terror activities against innocent people, and America intervened, and he saw that as he, Osama saw that as an aggression, and therefore justifying it to go and do a terrible terrorist attack. I mean, I'm pretty sure that Yahya Sinwar or Ismail Haniyeh would be able to write this from their own point of view and justify going after the people on October 7th. It's what you leave out that is going to make sense or not. Whereas, oddly enough, this does make sense from the point of view of, yes, the Palestinians have been able, sorry, the Palestinians have been attacking Israel, right, like from one border to another, relentlessly, all the time, over and over, attacking it, and saying that Jews have the right to live in peace makes sense. This is why the Palestinian people cannot be innocent of all the crimes committed by Hamas. Well, again, truth somewhat to it, because most of them, the civilians, actually supporting it. Though I said what I say cannot be, but I disagree with, and where it doesn't fit in. But again, like what he's trying to say here is war can never be justified. That's basically what he's saying. And if you agree that war can be justified, you're as bad as Osama bin Laden. You know, it's funny because the ones who are pro Osama bin Laden are the Palestinians. The ones who are pro Nazis are the Palestinian movement. So trying to shift the blame on us is despicable again and again, just Sorry to say, nothing but a blood libel.
Agree with it. I'm only going to leave this up here for a little bit, so pause to read.
So very, very tricky and sneaky, but despicable.
This is word for word the letter Osama bin Laden wrote to justify attacking America.
Yeah, but it's based on a lie. Osama bin Laden understanding of aggression is based on Islamic understanding of aggression. Basically, if you don't accept Islam and you push back against Islam, then you're the aggressor, right? That's what you're missing here.
All I did was replace United States,
Yeah, all you did was being an asshole. Go ahead.
Israel, Jews with Palestinian and Hamas.
Uh-huh.
If you think it's fine that kids are being
I wonder. I wonder if this guy ever saw the footage of October 7th. I wonder if he actually saw what they did when they shouted Allahu Akbar and maybe make that connection to Osama bin Laden.
killed, then congratulations.
Again with the kids. Again with the kids. Like he's trying to hammer down just like any other pro Palestinian motherfucker out there, saying, "Oh, it's about the kids, the kids, the kids," right? But he doesn't care when the Palestinians tear down posters of missing children being held captives by Hamas. Right? This happened because this guy is in California. I'm not exposing him. He said it himself many times. Where we have seen images of people from the pro-Palestinian movement from his midst, right? Because he's a teacher. Again, he has said it himself. From the campus movement around the colleges, where they tear down posters of missing Jewish people, including children. Yeah, those are his students. Of course, he's gonna be influenced by that, but he's gonna go in with, "Oh, they killing the kids, they killing the kids," right? Another blood libel.
With Palestinian and Hamas. If you think it's fine that kids are being killed, then
No, I
congratulations.
don't think it's fine. You are the one who doesn't care about Jewish kids, right? I think the ones who should be responsible for killing kids in Gaza should be Hamas, should be their parents, should be their upbringing, should be the society around them, not the IDF who is trying to defend themselves, making sure that Israel will not experience another October 7th.
You think the same way Osama bin
No, I don't. You are a sneaky, lying piece of shit who's trying to like basically what he's doing here is building up a straw man of a false equivalency. That's basically what he has done. I showed again that yeah, you can replace it with many other things, and the devil lies within the details. Trying to equate it with, oh, I'm just as bad as Osama. You know what? I wonder if he would be able to say that that Gazans who shouts death to Israel, death to America, and spitting on dead bodies going through Gaza, if he would say that they're as bad as Osama bin Laden. I wonder if he would say yes, they are as bad as him too.
Laden thinks. If you think what doesn't count if they're Muslim, then you don't know how to think.
Okay, so this is actually the one statement this motherfucker did that made me go to the side to make this video because this idiot says something that really pissed me off.
You think the same way Osama bin Laden thinks. If you think what doesn't count if they're Muslim, then you don't know how to think.
So, who is the one who started this shit? He's the one being very much pro Palestinian and attributing the blood libel knowingly or unknowingly against Jews. I don't know, but he's the one spreading the blood libel about Jews and saying that basically they have no right to defend themselves. They have no right to go after the butchers who tried to kill them in one day. And by the way, have been doing so for a long, 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 long time, which is very much true, right? They actually have been aggressions from the Gazans ever since the first Intifada. Okay, Ever since then, I mean, no, it goes even beyond it. I mean, it's been going on forever. And yes, it's not the Jews' fault; it is the Muslims' fault because most of these people who are Gazans are Muslims, if not all. Most like there used to be a Christian population in Gaza. They're now wiped out, not because of IDF, but because of Hamas atrocities against minorities, just like they do in Syria right now against the Druze. So yeah, forgive me, Mister Asshole, if I don't care if they're Muslims, because Asmongold basically says that yeah, like they're Muslim idiots and they just go around and killing people and doing all that shit and shouting Allahu Akbar, and now they're crying when shit hits the fan. So I don't care about them. Again, would you care about Nazis, Mr. Asshole? Would you do that? I don't know. Because I do have a great case to show you absolutely correlation between a Nazi agenda and the Palestinian agenda. I have a case to show you that yes, Muslims are the predominant propagandists in the West when it comes to spreading Nazi Palestinian bullshit propaganda and smearing Jews as evil. You have fallen for it. Again, Goebbels said, repeat the lie 1,000 times, just like you're doing with the blood libel Jews killing children, and it becomes true. You fall for that. So if you think that this is, oh, you're bad because Muslims are the brown people and they're just being vilified, then you're an idiot. You're a fucking idiot and an asshole who thinks that Islam is about race. It's not. He's living in California, so he doesn't understand that this is a religious war. Well, he does understand that, but he doesn't understand it's a religious war from the Gazan side. He only thinks it's a religious war from the IDF side, from the Israeli side, from the Jewish side, because he thinks that Jews are evil. He thinks that Muslims are just innocent victims by all this, right? Because he doesn't know jack shit about this conflict. Again,
I detest Hamas.
no, you
People
don't.
have
Okay,
compared.
this is funny. If he says he did this to Hamas, then he would understand what Hamas stand for. Uh, Let me just. Hamas is an acronym for Harakat al Muqawama al Islamiyah, Islamic Resistance Movement. Hmm? Founded in 1987 as an offshoot of Palestinian Muslim Brotherhood. What's that? Muslim Brotherhood? So, so this is about Islam. So, when he says that, oh, you don't know how to think if you say, oh, fuck all Muslims, which I gladly say and repeat over and over because fuck all Muslims, right? If you're going to follow a book that says kill anybody who's not a Muslim and subjugate them, and you have the right to kill your own family members and even your own children if they are not Muslim, then yeah, fuck all Muslims, fuck Islam, right? Because you've been indoctrinated and you're spreading this to the next generation and the next generation to be nothing but superiority complex bigots. And who thinks like that? Nazis. And people don't understand that the correlation between Nazism and Islam is actually a valid point. Uh, Al Husseini, just look at this picture. Amin al Husseini, Adolf Hitler. Let's see. I'm just gonna show you this little picture right here. Do you guys see this picture? This is the Mufti, Grand Mufti of Jerusalem. He's meeting with Hitler to talk about the final solution, how to handle Jews and wipe them out from Jerusalem. Palestinian nationalist leader who led violent campaigns against Jews and the British authorities in what was then British Mandate Palestine in 1920s and 30s, long before Israel was formed. So not that long, but yeah. So This guy is smiling and having a good time with Hitler. So when I say over and over that Islam is Nazism and Palestinianism is Nazism, I have a case to make. You, however, rely on one thing and one thing only, and that's the fucking blood libel. And you rely on, oh, you're going against the Muslims, you must be a racist because poor brown people, oh, they get idiot. There are people that are Muslims out there that are white, just as white as you, right? Have you heard of the Chechens? Yeah, have you heard of them? Have you heard of them? Look at this guy. This is Razman Kadyrov. This is Razman Kadyrov. He is a Muslim. He has declared jihad upon Ukraine. He is as white as you stupid motherfucker, and everybody around him is as white as him. They're Chechens. So it's not about race. It's about Islamic ideology, indoctrination. Fucking moron.
Compared their actions to slave rebellions that resulted in
What?
massacres.
What?
Hamas, people have compared, if they're Muslim, then you don't know how to think.
Yeah, you don't know how to think because you're a fucking idiot with your head stuck up your ass who doesn't understand that Islam is not a race. What was the next point?
I detest Hamas.
Again, he says he detests Hamas, but everything he says is just Hamas propaganda. Every fucking single thing so far has been nothing but Hamas bullshit. And trying to smear people who are against Hamas as evil as Osama bin Laden.
People have compared their actions to slave rebellions that resulted in massacres and said, well, because slavery was bad, they won't condemn the rebellions. And by extension, they don't condemn retaliation for armed occupation. To me, that's not me.
Okay, that's not you. Why the fuck do you even bring it up then? Why do you even bring that up as it should be a valid point when you say that's not me? Why would you even bring it up? And by the way, what's your rebuttal to it in that case? What's your like if you say it's not me, then how about you actually give a rebuttal to why you think it's wrong? I can tell you why it's wrong. Because Hamas wants to put Jews in slavery. They are not a slavery rebellion movement that went up against their uh, slavers, right? Hamas is an organization that kicked out all the Jews, even though Gaza was a very modern area built up for a modern era. And when all the Jews left, even the dead Jews, what did they do with all that all these modern things that they had? Greenhouses, new hospitals, even a new airport. They turned it into a war zone, a terror hub to to fight Israel because they don't recognize Israel. So it's not about oh they have a state now and so now the border is closed. Well, they have checkpoints. The border is closed because of constant aggression. And there's something I know that people like they repeat it all the time, but it's a good point. Egypt has a border, a wall, a wall like the one Donald Trump wanted to build. They have a wall against Gaza, not allowing Gazans to enter Egypt freely. Nobody's complaining about that. Hamas is not waging war against Egypt because they want freedom. No, no, no. They wage war against Israel because why? Because they hate Jews. They cannot think according to Islamic ideology. They cannot coexist in equal opportunity. They cannot see Jews as equal or even having a land. What must be according to the Islamic law is that Muslims have priority and are first class citizens over Jews, where Jews are dhimmis, third class, third class citizens, almost as slaves. So saying that this is a slavery rebellion, the same as slavery rebellion, is bullshit. Especially when Jews never ever treated these people as slaves in the first place. right? They tried to coexist with them. They gave them everything, and the left said, okay, land for peace. You can have it. Just let us be over here. And they're like, no, 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 that's not good enough. Using all the technology, all the greenhouses, all the pipelines of clean water and all that to make rockets with and to just bomb Israel to smithereens, which also is very peculiar because when you talk about carpet bombings and discriminate bombings, how many times have we have over the last 2 years now, and even before that, where there's been rockets from Gaza, from Hezbollah, from Iran, from Yemen, this indiscriminately just targeting anything that moves in Israel, right? In Iran, anything that moves in Israel doesn't matter who it is, just carpet bomb or rocket bomb anything, right? In Tel Aviv, they striking houses, civilian targets, right? They don't give a fuck if you're IDF military target or if it's civilians. So stop the bullshit if you don't know what you're talking about, because you can only blame one side, and because you think Jews are evil. That's what it's boiled down to. And there's gonna come a point in this video where he's gonna exactly tell us why he thinks Jews are evil, and we're gonna get to that.
Saying, well, what do you expect to happen doesn't mean that you can't also condemn an action like October 7th, for example.
Can you okay?
Now,
Can you condemn that? I haven't heard him condemn it. He just says, "Oh, you can't condemn it." Can you condemn that? Do you even know what happened? I wonder if he even knows what happened.
October 7th. For to me, I that's not me
Again, why did we bring it up?
saying, well, what do you expect to happen doesn't mean that you can't also condemn an action like October 7th.
Okay, he doesn't condemn it. He just says, "Oh, I can't." But what do you want? What is your solution, Mr. Peterson? Instead of just blaming Jews, tell me, why do you think there's a war in the beginning? Like, how would it else be than war when Hamas started the war? Like, what do you expect would happen? You answer that question yourself.
For example.
How about he's never going to answer that, right? He's just going to make excuses about why Jews are bad.
Now, I'm not going to sit here and try to moralize the situation
Why not? I mean, you already tried to demoralize Jews, so
or try to make excuses for
but you are making excuses already.
any side.
Yes,
All
you
I'm
are.
going to
Yes, you are. By the way you speak and the way you try to smear Jews as evil and IDF as evil, like you're insinuating that IDF is at fault and Palestinians are victims. Asmongold is evil because he thinks like Osama bin Laden. So you are moralizing and you're making excuses already. So fuck you.
do is point out that if you think X is wrong, then you can't say X is not wrong just because.
What the fuck does that even mean? Like, okay, so this is funny because he's saying that both Hamas and IDF, sorry, Hamas and Israel are both like an X. They're equal. Both are equal. Like, didn't he say just back a couple of minutes ago that like this is like both like not all of them are equal? Like saying, oh, they're both bad is bad. Is you don't know how to think something like that? Now he's doing the same thing. Like, this guy doesn't know jack shit about what he's talking about. And what the fuck does that mean? X is wrong, X is not wrong. What does he even mean by that?
Somebody else did it, for example. I saw some clips from
What do you mean somebody else did it? Like, every fucking word from this asshole's mouth is just gibberish. What the fuck does he even say here?
make excuses for any side. All I'm going to
You are making again. I said it already. You are making excuses for Hamas. Yes, you maybe you don't even know it, but you are feeding into their propaganda.
do is point out that if you think X is wrong, then you can't say X is not wrong.
What the fuck does that even mean? What the fuck does that even? If you think X is wrong, you can't say X is not wrong. What? What? Like, I'm just like, what the fuck is that even?
Just because somebody else did it, for example. I saw some
Just because
clips
somebody
from
else
that.
did it. No, okay. Hamas went in, started a war. IDF is making sure that they cannot do something like that again. That's it. There was a guy on Discord who came up and, basically said, has the same mindset as Mr. Idiot Peterson here. And he asked me, is war always wrong? And I said, no, not necessarily. And he said, well, then I cannot talk to you anymore. And this is like, again, people don't understand what war is. People don't understand what we're dealing with. People don't understand the entity of the Palestinians and the Gazans and Hamas, and what fuels them, on all the proxies that are against Israel by terror means. They don't understand this. They don't understand what terror regime is. They don't understand that war is sometimes necessary. Again, Nazi Germany, World War II, the same fucking mindset. If you actually knew what the fuck Gaza was, and what Palestinians are, and what Islam is, and what Muslims think, then you would understand that these people don't understand nothing but one thing, and that is full blunt force. They don't understand reasons. They don't give a fuck about reasons. They don't fuck about moral dilemmas. In their minds, they're right because they're Muslims. You're wrong because you exist by default and you have to be subjugated. And the fact that Israel is in the midst of in an Islamic land, in the Islamic world, is a stain to the eye of every Muslim. This is what people don't understand. This is the mindset. And that's why Israel needs force to defend itself. They cannot defend themselves with land for peace and say, or they tried it so many times. Okay, you get this land, just leave us alone. Never worked. Never worked. That's why Israel is on the offensive right now. Right? Just again, just like people realize that Hitler wouldn't stop and saying, just appease him. They said no. Okay, so there's need to be a war to stop it. People like Mr. Peterson here does not understand that shit. I mean, just saying that Israel is committing genocide is despicable in itself.
Recent hospital bombing, maybe you've seen some of them too. The
Okay.
bombing, it caught these various tents that were just outside of the hospital being used to house patients. It caught those tents on fire, and you can see hands deep within the inferno reaching up, just completely pointlessly, as these people
I wonder where he saw that because I haven't seen that footage.
burned to death. There's also, in the video, I saw people who are on fire crawling over broken glass and shattered concrete, just trying to escape.
I really don't know what video he's talking about. I haven't seen that. But if I have to guess what bombing he's talking about, was this stupid incident uh, of the Al-Azi hospital, was it? And I have some articles I want to go through about that. Al Ahli Hospital. Okay, and this was right at the start of the war, and it's still like this lie is still circulating around that Israel bombed a hospital, where in reality it was the Palestinian Resistance Front or something like that, another terror organization within Gaza. I haven't seen what he's describing. Now, just so we are clear, that Hamas shot rockets that ended up in Israeli hospitals and killed a bunch of people during October 7th. Yes, it was not just the Nova Festival, there was also rockets. Hezbollah also shot rockets. And I saw a video of a girl by a group of Muslims surrounding her and torched her alive, burning her alive on that day. Now, I'm not really clear if it was that day or if it's another day, but it seemed like it was during October 7th where they just surrounded her and burned her alive. Okay? And with the witness testimony we have afterwards about people being burned alive on October 7th, it wouldn't surprise me if that was from that day. That's what I have seen. What he's talking about, I have no idea where that video comes from or what it is. referring to. I would very much like to know what video he saw. But let's go back to this Al Ahli hospital. So I'm gonna play a video first. It's about 4 minutes. This is from the IDF, by the way, the Israel Defense Forces, or at least a channel that is called Israel Defense Forces, where they're gonna talk about the Al Ahli hospital. Was a year ago. Yeah, on October 17th. All right, just 10 day after. And by the way, one thing that people should also note is ever since the war, that when boots on the ground and Israel's starting to really wipe out Gaza from existence, again, with every right. Like, with every right. I don't give a fuck. Like, if they wipe out Gaza from existence because they fucking deserve it. Ever since that, there's no more rockets from that area, maybe one or two against Israel. Okay, there is saying, people say, "Oh, how can you say that? Oh, you want to wipe out Gaza from existence." I want the people who are against Hamas to actually be able to say they are against Hamas when being shot to death and rise up against Hamas and against all the other terror organizations out there. They cannot do that if Hamas is still running. And the only way Hamas will be eradicated is if Hamas is bombing to smithereens. Now, I go even further, and you can call me a fucking genocidal maniac if you want. Again, no genocide if there's 2.1 million Gazans living there, and about 60,000 of them are dead. That's not a genocide. You can call me whatever you want, but I think it would be better if Trump built like a amusement, a theme park, a Trump Tower, and nice beaches, and build it all from scratch up again, where the tunnels are gone, all the bullshit buildings are gone, and it just started over from scratch. I think it's a better way than just doing like a half measurement attack into Gaza and then leave and just be like, oh, we just gotta leave it as before. I think it's better to just wipe it all out and build it from scratch than having this shit to deal with. Anyway, this is the truth about Al Ahli hospital bombing in Gaza.
On October 17th, a rocket slammed into the parking lot of El Ali Hospital in Gaza City. Hamas would soon accuse Israel of attacking the hospital, killing over 500 civilians. This would turn out to be false. Figuring out exactly what happened can be complex and time consuming, but it's critically important. So here's what happened. Let's start off with the timeline. At 6:59 p.m., a barrage of about 10 rockets were fired at Israel from Gaza, triggering sirens across Israel, including cities as far as Tel Aviv. Reports immediately emerged.
Reports from the Hamas run health ministry that as many as 500, possibly more, killed in this airstrike. I've spoken to the IDF tonight. They are saying they're looking into it.
Within under half an hour, Hamas began to report that the hospital has been attacked by the IDF, with the casualty count climbing dramatically. But here's the thing, figuring out exactly what happened in such a complex environment takes time. Way more than 30 minutes. Here's how the IDF analyzed what happened. When reports emerged of the hospital being hit, the IDF immediately began to investigate. We looked at three things. The first was reviewing all operational activity taking place at the time. The second was analyzing radar footage and other operational capabilities the IDF has. The third was carefully reviewing intelligence sources. Again, this takes time. But at 12:39, the IDF released its official statement, concluding that the hospital had been hit by rockets fired by the Islamic Jihad. Let's start with the hospital. This is aerial footage of what the hospital looked like a few days ago. Here's what it looked like the night of the attack. Now here's what it looks like today. You'll notice that there is damage here on the tile roof of the hospital, but that the primary point of impact is the parking lot. The building itself remains intact. This is even clearer when looking at this footage taking the following day.
יש לך את ההזדמנות לראות את המפנה של הבית חולים מצד שמאל. שפה אין כלום, כי זה הראשי.
Here's something else that sticks out. Aerial strikes leave telltale signs, namely cratering and structural damage to nearby buildings. Depending on the type of aerial ammunition, you would typically see fairly large craters. Here's the hospital parking lot again. No craters, buildings intact. So, where did the rocket come from? Given the local production of many of Jihad's rockets, it is not uncommon for rockets to misfire. As a matter of fact, as of October 21st, about 450 of the 6,500 rockets that were fired at Israeli civilians landed inside Gaza. Here's a picture of where those rockets were fired from. IDF radar footage shows quite clearly that at the exact time that the hospital was hit, rockets were being fired from a cemetery towards Israel, and that those rockets were fired right by the hospital. So, this picture, for example, presents what you would expect to see when a rocket that still has propellant lands during its boost phase, and that fuel catches fire. Again, in this picture, all the surrounding buildings are intact. So, what do we have so far? We have clear proof that aerial munitions were not used there. We have the Islamic Jihad firing rockets right near the hospital, and a track record of failed launches. So the IDF knows that the hospital was ruined by an Islamic Jihad rocket. Hamas knew this was not an Israeli strike. But it did not stop them from trying to turn this into a massive media frenzy. Now make no mistake, loss of life is tragic. The IDF has taken every feasible measure to mitigate damage to civilians in Gaza, including facilitating evacuations, all while Israeli civilians remain under attack. Hamas, meanwhile, has taken every effort to target Israeli civilians and hide behind Gazans.
Innocent Palestinian families, and the vast majority have nothing to do with Hamas.
So
They're being used as human shield.
I have to talk.
This takes
Otherwise, it's
time
going to
to
be an
verify.
infringement, I guess. But what I wanted to show was just how fast the propaganda spread from the Palestinian side, and idiots like Mr. Peterson here is just reiterating it, right?
Sometimes a story can move around the world before it becomes clear. But the level amount of evidence today leaves very little room for doubt. In the age of misinformation, we all have a duty to check our sources.
Something, and this is the problem. Like when they are so fast of spreading this information, even as the bombas unfolded, that it becomes truth by lies. Again, Goebbels, say a lie 1,000 times, it becomes true. This is exactly what it is, right? It's happening, and before they even have what's going on clearly on the table, they spread and said that Israel did it.
Don't be a part of the problem.
I would agree to that and ask Mr. Peterson here not to be a part of the problem. But the damage is done. The damage is done, and it's been almost 2 years now since this incident. And look what it says when you ask when you ask Google, their new AI, how many people died by the misfired rocket by the Palestinian Islamic Jihad in Al Ahli Hospital. Uh, okay, so it gives you a number, 471 people. I'm just wondering, with all the footage that we see right now, does it look like this is that many people getting killed and 342 injured? U.S. intelligence agencies estimate between 100 and 300 casualties. I don't even know if that is true, but this says the Gaza Health Ministry reported it. Right? They reported right away before the facts were on the table. I'm sorry, but with the crater as they talk about, does this look does this look like does this actually look like 400 people have been killed? I can give 100 injured maybe. Where, like, what is he talking about? People being burned alive inside a hospital. This is the parking lot. This is not even a crater, right? This U.S. intelligence shows Israel not responsible for Gaza hospital strike. We have another one. This is from WGCU. I don't know what that stands for. Sorry. AP visual analysis rocket from Gaza appeared to go astray, likely caused deadly hospital explosion. So this is like what it looks like. Really not. What does the expert say? AP ran its visual analysis by half a dozen experts who all agreed the most likely scenario was a rocket from within Gaza that veered off and came apart seconds before the explosion. Here is one from Human Rights Watch. Findings on October 7 Al Ahli Hospital explosion. Evidence points to misfire rocket but full investigation needed. So Human Rights Watch is not friends with Israel at all. They love to point out how evil they are. Basically, that's the blood libel again. But even they have to be like, yeah, it seems to be a misfire rocket, but we need more. Like, how much investigation do you want? You have the fucking picture, you idiots. All right. So that's that. So I don't know where the fuck he gets his info from, but whatever. So let's move on.
And I just can't imagine not thinking that that's wrong. But the way people
What did he say? What's not wrong?
just trying to escape.
Oh.
And I just can't imagine not thinking that that's wrong. But the
Okay, so basically he's saying, well, if you have no sympathy for the civilians being bombed in an area, then you're evil, and you have no emotions, and you killed your own empathy. Well, I gotta be honest. My empathy died on October 7th. And it gradually keeps dying every time I hear idiots going around saying Jews are evil and saying that Jews want to kill kids for fun. When I see people tearing down posters of missing people, missing children, holding hostage, where people chair on October 7th, when people say from the river to the sea, fuck Gaza, motherfucker. No, they don't say that. I say that. Basically, when they say they want to eradicate all Jews, when I see people celebrating October 7th, yeah, my empathy dies every single fucking day. And when I see the so-called innocent civilians die from what they started themselves, because again, a lot of them were part on October 7th. We're happy about October 7th. Berated dead bodies that went through the Gaza Strip on October 7th. They saw what what they broadcasted themselves on October 7th, and putting their kids on their in their arms with Kalashnikovs and shouting "Allahu Akbar." My empathy dies. So sorry that I am not more empathetic to bastards. I wonder if he would be as empathetic to Nazis in Nazi Germany. Again, yes, there were a lot of people who were innocent who got caught in the crossfire during the war on Nazi Germany, like there are right now in Gaza. There are also innocents there that are caught in the crossfire, granted, but those innocents are the fault of Hamas and the society they are brought up on. It's not Israel's fault. And what you're talking about again, I want to see the footage you talk about and where the fuck you found that one, because if it's the Al Ahli hospital you talk about, then it's no like it seems to be nothing but Pallywood. If this idiot doesn't know what Pallywood is, it's basically uh, the Palestinians making up shit to sell to idiots like him so they can be swayed by emotions.
way people view atrocities on one side of this situation versus the other, it's such a joke. Osmongold, he's not
Oh, it's a joke? So, what about your students and all your friends that were very happy on October 7th? What you gonna say about them? Are you also gonna tell that this is a joke or that they're wrong? Again, this guy doesn't understand what war is. He doesn't understand the indication of war and what it entails, and that Hamas started this war and now they are lying in the consequences. They have to get real with the consequences. People are not just gonna fall over and be like, yeah, please come and rape me and kill me one more time. People have had enough, and this idiot doesn't get that.
He's not even remotely the only person to say something like what he said. In fact, a lot of stuff he's
And you know what's funny? That this asshole is talking so much shit about Asmongold there, but I was willing to come up and discuss this with him. This guy holds debates against very despicable people out there. He holds debates against Darth Dawkins. He holds debates against Kent Hovind and all the like creationist assholes. He has no problem going up against them, but he will not dare to debate me or even discuss this about Gaza with me. He won't dare to do that because he knows that he has a lot of Philistine motherfuckers, pro-Palestinian assholes following him, right? Again, from the leftist movement, the leftist atheist movement, sadly, and basically a lot of Muslims also like it because it goes after Christians. So he knows he's gonna lose a lot of subscribers if I dare to change his mind, or even if I come up and actually make points that that would be valid. Uh, wherever I go, from the like in the atheist movement right now, where like where they debate theism versus atheism, and they always bring up somehow the fucking Palestinism. And all these people are always pro Palestine for some fucking stupid reason. I guess because they swallow the lie, they swallow the propaganda. They don't like, again, for somebody who has a book out called Facts That Aren't True, somebody who's a critical thinker, but he won't dare to debate this. It's just showing me the hypocrisy, right? So he won't debate me because he knows he's gonna get a lot of backlash. One, if I make good points, or two, if if he actually changes his mind. I think that would scare him more, that he would change his mind. And I mean, on Discord, whenever I go up and I say there is no genocide, this is crap, I get so much hate for it. And you know what? I think this is exactly what Apostate Prophet experienced. Apostate Prophet, I'm not happy that became a Christian, but for so long, the community, and this is true for Ayan Hirsi Ali as well, for a long time, the community that supported him was not the atheists, it was the Christians that showed him love and support. Now, I think it's idiotic to join a movement that is based on lies just to fight another lie, but that's me. But I can understand from an emotional viewpoint where you're being shit up on all the time for believing in what is right and trying to show proof to so-called critical thinkers that's supposed to be on your side, and just being pushed over by this fucking leftist movement propaganda that has embedded themselves with Palestinism, that you get turned off and you want to move somewhere else that's safer and more welcoming and embracing. So the Christians win by default. And idiots like Mr. Peterson here, he won't make people become less Christian by debating creationists. He actually gonna make more Christians and a lot of more ex-Muslims go into Christianity if he just side with the enemy and calling people evil. And you think like Osama bin Laden, this fucking stupid shit. Hey, you know what, Mr. Peterson? How about this? I think you think like Stalin. Yeah, you know that fucking trope that the theists always love to use against atheists, when you say that, oh, you're just as bad as Stalin because you embrace communism because you're an atheist, right? You don't like that trope, do you? Yeah, because you know it's not true, but you're doing the same fucking shit with the stupid letter by Osama. Fucking idiot.
a lot of things I've heard have been a lot worse than what he said. There was a
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I say a lot of things that are worse than Osman said, and I have every right to do so. Fuck the Palestinians and fuck you.
U.S. congressman. His name is Andy Ogles. I had to look him up because I couldn't remember.
Ooh.
But he got asked. I think this was like in January, February. Somebody asked him a question about didn't he think it was wrong how so many thousands of children are being killed, and his response was, "We should kill all of them.
Okay,
There's no consequence for saying." I mean, that is a deliberate call for a genocide of Palestinian peoples.
so here is this is I forgot that he said this. I had because I had researched what I wanted to respond to him and his allegations. Let me just find it. Mm, Andrew Ogles. Oh, come on. And it's funny because like this is what they do. They take things out of context and then they make it as, oh, he said something very despicable, and and it just gets spread like wildfire, and then it becomes truth. And you have to go back to actually look, because everything these people say, I can guarantee that, like, they always, it's a lie. It's a half truth at best and a lie at worst, and they always just misconstrued statements of people. Always, always, always. So, like, every time they make a point, I always like to investigate. The problem, if I do that with everything I see, is it's a full time job, because like it goes on and on and on and on, and the next rabbit hole of the next rabbit hole, and it never stops. It never stops. It just goes on and on and on. And I just wanted to find that statement of Andrew. The hell? Why can't I find it? Okay, let's see. What was his name?
And his response was, "We about didn't he think it was Andy Ogles?"
The Ogles. Okay, and the Ogles. Palestine statement. So this is from Al Jazeera. And it's funny that's like even if you look at and listen to what he says on Al Jazeera here, that you will see how much full of shit they are.
No evidence.
Okay, so just from the start, listen to that.
To be clear, Hamas raped and murdered babies.
So they he's referencing this clip, but look at this bitch that's in front of him saying that that's fake news when he says that Hamas are the ones who murdered babies. Of course, they skipped all that. They skipped all that, right? And this bitch saying it's fake news,
No evidence of that.
saying there's no evidence for that. I've seen the foot, and he says clearly, I've seen the footage. I've seen the footage. I have seen the footage too. And he says, you haven't. And again, Greta Thunberg, people like her and Greta Thunberg, and probably like Idiot Peterson, will never have the stomach to see the actual footage on October 7th. They don't. They refuse to watch it.
Footage, and you haven't. I've seen the footage. You've seen footage of shredded children's bodies.
Yeah. So there again with Pallywood, they love to bring this up about killed children and babies and stuff like that. A lot of it is fake, by the way.
That's my taxpayer dollars.
Oh, she would rather that her taxpayer dollars goes to Hamas, of course. And of course, again, the blood libel that Israel Jews love to kill kids. Again, this is boiling down. The genocide and killing kids is an emotional trope to try to sway people from the other side, saying that Israel has the right to attack Gaza and kill Hamas and take him out of operations and make sure that anybody who is in the way will be targeted too. All right. That doesn't mean that they want to kill people, collateral damage, but they are willing to do so because their primary goal and responsibility is to the Israeli people. That goes for any nation. And even so, they go out their way trying to minimize casualties. But this bitch is, oh, no, no. October 7 never happened. There's no evidence of that. Oh, Jews just want to kill kids. Okay? They missed all of that. Not they. Planet Peterson and idiots like him missed all of that. Right? This is a 1 minute clip, and look how much misinformation already.
So I think we should kill them all, if that makes you feel better. Everybody,
And here's the kicker, right? So listen.
so I think we should. So I think we should kill them all, if that makes you feel better. Everybody,
So they left out everybody in Hamas. They left out that he meant anybody in Hamas should be killed. What they did is she says the blood libel, going to bother
so I
kids,
think we should.
and his response, I think we should kill them all, and then it stops. Like trying to portray it as he's saying, "Oh, I want to kill babies. I'm a baby killer." Right? That's what they want to portray it as. They miss out the important part afterwards.
Kill them all, if that makes you feel better. Everybody,
Everybody in Hamas, that everybody in Hamas should be killed, and I 100% agree with that. Why the fuck is it wrong to kill every single Hamas member, terrorist scumbag? After what they did, fuck them all. They don't deserve to live. I'm happy when I see dead pictures of Yahya Sinwar, Ismail Haniya, and under any other fat fucking Palestinian terrorist out there. Okay? But of course, no, no, no. They want to make it about babies. And then skip the part when she says that, oh, Hamas didn't kill babies. It never happened. This is the blood libel I'm talking about. This is the false spread of narrative I'm talking about. This is the despicable thing of somebody of the stature of Eric Peterson, who should know better, just going around talking shit about Jews.
Hamas and the Palestinians have been attacking Israel for 20 years, and it's time to pay the price.
They missed that as well. Hamas and Palestinian, yes, that's true.
Israel's been attacking Palestine.
Okay, so now Israel is an occupier, even though they left Gaza, right? Saying Israel is an aggressor, even though they are defending themselves. This is what I'm talking about. This is the lies. Like if you just go through this statement alone and the video alone, that is up on Al Jazeera, you can clearly see that they misconstrued his words, trying to make him look like baby killer, and actually not talking about Hamas. Sorry, and where he was not saying that, and he was actually talking about Hamas as a whole, right?
Your naivety doesn't make it true.
His like this is very good. This is a good response. Her naivety doesn't make it true. I don't even think she's naive. I think she's just wild.
There's a genocide happening right now.
Again, with the fucking genocide, right? Don't like Viva Kafia, that is a terror garment that they want to talk about killing all Jews, and she has the audacity to say genocide.
They're starving women and children. How is that going?
Oh, now we're going with the starvation, right? Like there's so much bullshit about that with starvation. I mean, other people have already exposed that lie that no, there is no starvation, and the ones who actually taking the food and holding it for ransom to other Gazans are Hamas themselves.
After
Killed over
Hamas.
300 healthcare workers. Shame on you.
Yeah, and then now we go with the 300 again with this stupid. And you know what? This is from that same time, right? The hospital worker. When was this? 21st of February. Yeah. So they still reference this Al Ahli hospital, still referencing it, even though like it was deemed as false from the start. They're still going with it because it's spread like wildfire. They don't care about facts. They don't care about truth. They care to smear Jews as evil, spreading the blood libel, and portraying Hamas and Gazans as innocent victims. She said it from the start. Oh, that October 7th was fake news. This is they don't care about what's true. They only want to spread lies.
You have no heart.
How is turning off water?
Yeah, you bitch have no heart. You're a pro terrorist bitch. Why don't you go and suck some Hamas cock? Pro will love it. Pro will love it when they're done with you and kick you off the roof, huh? Idiot.
Power on pregnant women going.
And here's another thing. How is turning off water and power? How is it responsibility for Israel to give power and water to the entity that wants to kill you? That is something I never understood. That's something I just like. You have assholes who want to kill every single Jew, and then they complain that the Jews turn off their water and electricity. You can't make this shit up. It's hypocrisy.
Water and power on pregnant women going after Hamas.
Pregnant women. Oh, so just they add shit in now. Pregnant women. I haven't heard that one that much. So, but yeah, what pregnant women? What the fuck is he even saying?
APAC zombie.
Yeah, APAC. How about the Qatar contributions to Columbia University? Huh? How about that?
Death to Hamas.
Very good. Very good, Sid. Death to Hamas. I 100% agree. So, this asshole just reiterated a blood libel by Al Jazeera, taking it out of context, trying to portray Andrew, as a baby killer. What a piece of shit you are, Mr. Peterson.
I had to look him up because I couldn't remember. But he got asked. I think this is like in January, February.
Look, I've been every time. This is one of the reasons why I can't do this forever. This asshole has 11 minutes of bullshit, and it takes me. I'm only halfway through, and it's been 1 hour 33 minutes already. Yeah.
Somebody asked him a question about didn't he think it was wrong how so many thousands of children are being killed, and his response was, we should kill all of them.
I just showed you that no, that was not what he said. He said he should kill all of Hamas. That bitch tried to was the one in error in spreading lies, but he appropriately responded to her bullshit. But you want to deem him as evil.
No consequence for saying,
yeah, there should be a consequence for people going around spreading lies to congressmen, and congressmen responds appropriately. But of course, this guy again, because again with the fucking wokest mind virus, this guy is so against right wing politicians that anybody who's right wing, he wants to smear them as evil no matter what. He doesn't care about the context, and he's gonna talk more about it very shortly.
That is a deliberate call for a genocide of Palestinian peoples.
No, so you can't have it both ways. You can't say that not all of Palestinians are Hamas, and at the same time, when you say death to Hamas, death to all Hamas, that means genocide of all Palestinian people. You can't have it both ways. Either you agree that all of them are Hamas, and therefore you say, oh, it's a call to genocide, or you say that no, wait a second here, no, it cannot be genocide if he says death to Hamas, because not all of them are Hamas. You can't have it both ways. I say about 70% of them are pro Hamas or Hamas operatives, and about 30% are too afraid to speak up. That's what I say, and that's what other people have collaborated with. That's been there actually, and talked about these things. So you don't really know who's an enemy and who's a friend, And even though those friends, you don't know how much you can trust them. And let's be honest, how much they can trust you. Because yes, I would agree, violence breeds violence. And if you're in an environment that views Jews as evil, and you have IDF fighting you and shooting at you, they don't know who you are. It's gonna be hard to be buddy buddy with them. Even if I would say yes, too bad that they are caught between a rock and a hard place. You do know that it's still war. Again, you don't understand the concept of war. I think a lot of people who maybe have good intentions, who are not, who doesn't know jack shit about this conflict, and they just been fed lies. I don't think they understand that this is war. They don't understand the concept of war.
specifically children. And he's not going to receive any kind of punishment for that. I don't
And
remember
he should.
which person it was, if it was Rashida Tlaib or
Yeah,
who,
again, why should he? Why the fuck should he? He said nothing wrong, you fucking asshole.
for that. I don't remember which person it was, if it was Rashida Tlaib or whoever,
Okay, so he's gonna reference Rashida Tlaib, the the Islamist motherfucker, the bitch, the Islamic genocidal jihadi whore.
but they retweeted a tweet somebody else tweeted that said, I think all it said was from the river to the sea, or it contained that phrase.
Oh yes, because that is not genocidal according to Mr. Asshole here. He doesn't understand that from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free means no Israel. And that is very much a genocidal slogan. So much so that's actually illegal to say in Germany, because Germany has a history of Jew hatred. And it's actually quite ironic that a country that has been the orchestrate of the worst genocide of history against Jews are now the ones who will not allow genocidal slogans to be spoken by genocidal kufiya wearing pieces of shit like Rashida Tlaib.
It said some other things, but she got like formally censured
Good,
by the government
good,
just for doing that.
good. No, it's not just for doing that. There's a very important thing when you do that. It's not just, right? When you say that you are calling for genocide of Jews because you're not allowing Jews to live in Israel. When you say globalize the Intifada, what you are calling for is globalized genocide of Jews. So it's not just, it has very genocidal connotations in those slogans. But you, Mr. Dumbass, doesn't get that because you don't know, again, jack fucking shit about the topic. Ah,
But you can openly call for a genocide, and there
again,
are
he
no
didn't call for genocide. It's a misconstrued video and taken out of context. We just watched the video, so fuck you.
consequences. There's this podcast.
It's just that he basically hates right wingers, so he has no problem just smearing them with whatever shit they want, and then making excuses for a bitch like Rashida Tlaib. Ah, motherfucker.
Really called Two Nice Jewish Boys. This was back in September, but one of them said that if they had a button and it would kill every single living person in Gaza, then they would push it. There have been calls to nuke Gaza.
I don't know what he's talking about, but from everything seen so far, I wonder if that's true. But even if it's very true, I have heard much worse things from the pro-Palestinian movement, especially the the all the Hitler slogans, right? All the all the Heiling and all that, saying that Hitler was right. Yeah, yeah. I mean, again, I really don't understand why there is such a big deal to say that yes, we should wipe out Gaza from the map and start over. The people that are there, who are not pro Hamas should we have taken a safe haven and help rebuild it. That's basically it. The rest of them can go fuck themselves.
Here are some fantastic quotes.
Okay, so this is the one I was focused on la- uh, later on. This is the one that caught my attention and that I did some digging in because, again, he's taking this from like a pro-Palestinian website and it's just misconstrued words from a lot of people and trying to point out Jews as evil. And of course, Mr. Peterson here, oh, visualizing Palestine. Of course, he's taking it from that. Of course, Mr. Peterson had no problem to reiterate the blood libel and spring Jews as evil because he sees these people as a right wingers, and therefore they're evil and bad, and so he just put them in one category and doesn't give a fuck if it's true or not. So this is the I this is let's get through one by one. You have Galant. There will be no electricity, no food, no fuel. We are fighting human animals, and we are acting accordingly. Then we have, we'll turn them into rubble. I'm telling the people of Gaza, get out of there now because we're about to act everywhere with all our force. That's Benjamin Netanyahu, 2023. Then we have Ariel Kaliner, member of Israel Knesset. By the way, Yoav Gallant was Israel Minister of Defense, 2023. So right now, one goal, Nakba. A Nakba that will overshadow the Nakba of 48. Nakba in Gaza and Nakba to anyone who dares to join. Then we have Isaac Herzog, Israeli President, 2023. It is an entire nation out there that is responsible. Isaac Herzog. Then we have Daniel Hagari, Israel Army spokesperson. The emphasis is on damage and not on accuracy. And then we have Itamar Ben Gvir, Israel Minister of National Security, 2023. The only thing that needs to enter Gaza are hundreds of tons of explosives from the Air Force, not an ounce of humanitarian aid. So let's go through these ones. Number one, let's go through Yoav Gallant. Again, how is it Israel's responsibility to give electricity, food, fuel, water, whatever, to people that want to exterminate you? I never understood that. But you know what? Here's the thing: Israel are actually giving them aid. They are giving them aid, and Hamas is just exploiting that. So much so that it's actually been uncovered the last months or so. So like how much shady dealings there are with this shit, with UN just leaving it there to rot, like all the food to rot, and because of now IDF is taking control over it, the food distribution are much more better than when Hamas were using it for to basically hold their own civilians hostage, and using it to blackmail their own civilians, their own people. But to say we're fighting human animals, I think is uh, insult to animals. Yes, saying that you are fighting human animals is an insult to animals. Of course, as an atheist and somebody who not believing in a God and believing in evolution, I would say yes, humans are animals too. But like these people, and sadly, they are people. They're part of us. Are so vile that animals are not like even the worst animal you can think of, and I mean all animals, even a fucking mosquito, would not do it out of sheer hatred and malice towards their own mosquitoes. They would like animals do things for survival. So I would say I partially disagree with Yoav when he's talking about fight. And here's another thing: most of these are actually attributed to Hamas, not the people in general, right? Not all of them. Like it's like, oh, like all of them are evil. No, no, they are talking about Hamas. They're talking about the people that are behind Hamas and are pro Hamas. They understand that there might be people out there who are not pro Hamas, but again, they're caught between a rock and a hard place, and it's war. So, like, it's gonna be very hard to decide which are which here. But yeah, I would agree that they are human, vile pieces of shit, and they are acting accordingly. Nothing wrong with that. That there will be no fuel, electricity, or food. Again, somewhat agree, but Israel is still doing that. Like they're still giving them that. So I don't know. Benjamin Netanyahu will turn them into rubble. Nothing wrong with that. I'm telling the people of Gaza, get out of there now because we're about to act everywhere with all our force. Absolutely zero, no problem with that. Right now, one goal, Nakba. This is Ariel what's his name? Kalner? I said Kaliner? Kalner. A Nakba that will overshadow the Nakba of 48. Nakba in Gaza and Nakba to anyone who dares to join. I 100% agree. You know why? You know what Nakba means? Nakba. Nakba means catastrophe. It doesn't mean Holocaust. It doesn't mean genocide. It means catastrophe. You know why? Because the Arabs lost in 48 and they had to move out, right? The ones who were fighting Jews, they had to be evacuated or not eradicated, eviscerated. They just they were forcibly moved out, and there's nothing wrong with that because again, they were fighting the victors, and they were like the victors were like, get out of here, you're not welcome here anymore. That's why they call it the catastrophe because Jews were allowed to live. So yeah, I'm okay with another Nakba. Fuck them. Now, Isaac Herzog, it is an entire nation out there that is responsible. I would say again, I do somewhat agree with that, although you don't like Hamas is very popular because of the indoctrination, because of Islam, because what they stand for, and the people who are against them are shot. A lot of them are pro what they're doing. We saw that on October 7th. They were very happy about it. So yeah, I do personally agree that there's an entire nation that is responsible. Just like in Nazi Germany, you like it's very hard to go out just after like the one entity when. And by the way, it would be easier in Germany because they had their own soldiers. They actually had soldiers, boots on the ground, fighting back, so you would know who's a military target and who's not. Right. So yeah, there's truth to that with Isaac Herzog. Then we have the emphasis is on damage and not on accuracy. This one I actually disagreed with, and I had to look up if that was true. And guess what? It wasn't. This is IDF press release, and I'm gonna read this. A number of international media outlets have erroneously referred to a quote allegedly made by the IDF spokesperson Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari concerning the IDF's operation in Gaza. Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari speaks on the record every day and his statements are accessible to all. He did not say, in Hebrew or in English, the quote, the emphasis is on damage and not on accuracy. On October 10, during a lengthy press briefing with Israeli military correspondents, the spokesperson spoke of the types and quantity of Hamas military targets the IDF is choosing to strike, the munitions being used to attack such targets, and the underlying analysis involved in making these decisions. Describing that decision making process, the IDF spokesperson stated that balancing accuracy in selecting which exact Hamas targets to strike and the scope of damage to Hamas' overall military apparatus, the IDF is focusing on maximum damage, meaning in the early days of the war, once the objective became to destroy Hamas military capabilities altogether, the IDF made a strategic shift from focusing on exactly which Hamas targets to hit to striking as many Hamas military targets as possible, with the aim of dismantling all of the Hamas military capabilities. This statement has been selectively misinterpreted and misquoted to suggest that the IDF is focusing on causing maximum damage to Gaza as a whole. This is blatantly false, as is clear from the preceding and subsequent sentences in the statement and from the context in which it was provided. To clarify again, Rear Admiral Hagari's use of the word maximum damage highlights the following contrast. Whereas in past operations or wars, Israel has been more selective or accurate with regards to the exact types of Hamas targets struck, given that Israel's overall objective was limited to diminish Hamas capabilities. Israel is now focused on dismantling Hamas capabilities altogether, i.e., causing maximum damage to Hamas military capabilities in their entirety. As such, any references to this quote should explicitly include that Rear Admiral Hagari was referring to maximum damage to Hamas military apparatus, and his words balancing accuracy refer to the past practice of striking select Hamas military components. Based on the above, the correct professional translation for the Hebrew word diuk, which has been translated by most as accuracy, would rather be exactness in order to more suitable fit the context and appropriate professional terminology. Senior IDF leadership, including Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari, have repeatedly and consistently stated that the IDF's operations are solely against the Hamas terrorist organizations and other terror groups in Gaza, and that the IDF takes extensive measures to mitigate harm to the civilian population in Gaza to the extent feasible. And here's the thing, this is just one quote that I had to go through to show you what it was actually said. How many times did I have to do this over the past 7 minutes of his bullshit speech here? In court, there usually is a thing where you establish that the witness is a liar, that you can then dismiss it and say that this witness is no longer credible. But this just keeps going and going and going and going. It's lie after lie after lie. You have to just dismantle everything. So it takes time. And I mean, though the people that are fighting, basically the Jews who are fighting against this disinformation and propaganda campaign by Hamas, by the Muslim Brotherhood, by the Arab Leagues, they are doing a full time job, and we should honor them and hats off to them. I myself am on the extreme side when I say things, and like what Mr. Peterson have been saying, like that you're extreme, you think that, oh, fuck them all, because we have reasons to be extreme, right? We didn't start this shit. We didn't. Like, we are the ones living in this, and people are going around and spinning our faces, sometimes quite literally, every day. Jews are being attacked all over the Western world all the time, and people are just saying, "Oh no, fuck the Jews," and saying it's okay, it's okay. And you're nothing but right wing extremist assholes. Like, you don't really see what we're fighting, or you're not willing to see what we're fighting because you want to vilify an easy target. And again, as Daniel Hagari in this article I just read, what I said before, when the cabinet or the politicians in Israel and even in America, the right wingers, when they do talk about Hamas first and foremost. They talk about the terrorists. They don't talk about an entity as a whole of Palestinians. They talk about the people who are behind these terrorist groups, these organizations. They understand that, yes, like they won't say it ever because I would say it's about Islam, and people understand more and more now that it's about Islam, but they would say not all Muslims. I would say, I would be extreme and say, no, fuck all Muslims. Like, I don't care anymore. I would be more extreme, but I'm just one guy who just tried to dismantle an idiot, and my voice is meaningless. But I try to steelman the politicians who they try to smear and saying, "Oh, look how evil they are," but they're actually more reasonable than me, and I'm the one that's like debunking this asshole. This is the fucking mad world we're living in. Okay, when I say that, yes, I acknowledge I'm extreme because I don't care anymore because I've lived this shit for a lifetime. I don't give a fuck anymore. Like I've been vilified so much. I don't care. Fuck these people. But Benjamin Netanyahu and all the politicians understand that they have a responsibility to the world and to the people. Jews overall understand this too, right? So they don't want to go out and say things that are extreme or try to vilify them even more. They understand that like the world is on them all the time. It's very unfair, but they understand the nuances of the situation. I have the luxury to just say, no, fuck it all. I don't care. But Jews don't have the luxury, and they get attacked all the time. And this asshole, Mr. Peterson, is just so very fast to just go around and spreading the blood libel. You should be ashamed. All right. Next one is Itamar Ben Gavir, and I would say that I think that personally I don't agree with him 100%, but because he's talking about explosives from the Air Force and whatnot, and he's deemed to be a very extreme guy, and he says not an ounce of humanitarian aid. He's deemed to be a very extreme guy, even by the Knesset, like even by the cabinet's own people. Here's an article of him. Ben Gavir decries entrance of aid trucks into Gaza. Grave mistake that delays our victory. And here we can see the prime minister actually uh, disagreeing with him, right? The prime minister's statement came after finance minister Bezalel Smotrich called for Netanyahu to show leadership to the public. So national security minister Itamar Ben Gavir, all right, said great mistake delays our victory, and he doesn't like that. But then just go on and on. Here we go. On Monday, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced that the IDF will take full military control of Gaza to prevent Hamas from looting humanitarian aid. He also noted that the decision to renew aid was necessary so that Israel would not lose the support of its closest allies. Okay? That's Netanyahu for you. Sorry. Yes. On Monday, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced that the IDF will take full military control of Gaza to prevent Hamas from looting humanitarian aid. He also noted that the decision to renew aid was necessary so that Israel would not lose the support of its closest allies. So Netanyahu basically says, give them support, give them aid. Do not let Hamas take control of the aid. So he actually disagrees with Ben Gavir. He says, no, Ben Gavir is wrong. And he is actually giving aid to the people who wants to kill him. Right? That's the extent of the love against their enemies from the Jews. Something that will never be given in return by the Gazans as a whole, especially not by Hamas. So Ben Gavir here, they try to portray him as, oh, look, like all of them are the same. They don't actually show that there are divisions and people disagreeing with each other within the cabinet themselves. They don't show those nuances. Why? Because they want to spread Jews as evil. This guy took this from visualizing Palestine. This idiot Peterson says that Rashida Tlaib is a victim in this, and that these right-wingers are just genocidal maniacs. That's because they're right-wingers. So he wouldn't say, oh, it's because they're Jews, but basically he says it's because they're right-wingers and whatnot. But the result is the same. He still spreads the genocidal propaganda and the blood libel trope. And this idiot doesn't get that. Okay, I have somebody message. Let me read those. You may not think. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I made you Islamophobic, but I'm happy that I made a difference to you at least. That's nice. Exposing Hamas. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially eat that propaganda lunch there. Yeah, I mean this is the chicken for KFC, right? And here's the thing, like I I'm not the best friend of the LGBTQ either. Like, just be honest. Like, me we have had discussions about this before, but I don't want to kill them. I mean, I can have debates with them. I do acknowledge them as people, and I wish the best. They can live happily lives and not bothering anybody. That's all fine, right? Like, they're free to be themselves and do whatever they want. But yeah, again, like these people, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with them. They go around and they say free Palestine and putting on the feel like it's a fucking trend, and then they just go and support the terrorist that wants to kill them, and they keep doing that over and over, and it blows my mind. But yeah, like honestly, it's the woke mind virus. It's not just like the LGBTQ. It's Planet Peterson himself is just this guy who's supposed to debate creationists. He is theism versus atheism. How the fuck has that turned out to be this political and this thing about Palestine? Everywhere I go, it's Palestine this, Palestine that, and every time you try to explain it, then you're evil. Oh, you're pro genocide. Like they swallow this shit so hard. Ugh. Anyway, thank you for the kind words, Naxi. All right, I'm gonna keep going because otherwise I'm gonna be here all night.
Quotes by people in Netanyahu's cabinet or whatever they call it over there. Netanyahu, he's repeatedly compared Hamas to Amalek. Now, I'm sure people that watch my videos.
Okay, so this is gonna be interesting because this is the point that I wanted to make. That's the most crucial point when it comes to Peterson here, when it comes to Amalek.
To know all about the Old Testament verses that we regularly use against apologists. But just to be clear, what it says is, now go, attack the Amalekites, and totally destroy all that belongs to them. Do not spare them. Put to death men and women, children and infants, cattle and sheep, camels and donkeys. This is genocidal language. It just flat out is. You hardly need religion.
So, this is where Planet Peterson doesn't understand. You can hear it. He does not understand Jews. I don't even think he has ever spoken to a Jew, and he doesn't understand the connotation Amalek means when it comes to Jewish traditions. So, because he does this a lot when he talks to theists, when he talks about the Amalek and what the Bible says about the Amalek and what God ordered the children of Israel to do with the Amalek, and how basically God was a genocidal asshole, Jews were in error, or the children of Israel was in error, and therefore, like when people talk about Amalek today, they speak in genocidal tones, saying though like they want to kill anybody who's an Amalek because they going word by word with what the text says. This is his interpretation of what it means when people say, remember the Amalek. The issue here is that when you talk to theists, and this would include Jews, they don't really know what their own book says. What they know is what people have told them about what the book says and what the stories entail and what the traditions are that's coming with it. This is especially true when it comes to Jewish traditions. In Christian traditions, usually they don't give a fuck because they're all about Jesus, and they don't really read that much of the Old Testament. But when you say remember the Amalek, no matter how you read it, and like I would give him the point here that yes, God is an asshole in the Bible. I would agree with him. But and it was not justified. When you actually read it in context, as a book as a whole, you would say, yeah, it doesn't fit what the narration has been told actually says. It doesn't fit the narrative, right? Because the Bible says something else, and like it's not justified. The issue is that in the tradition, in the Jewish tradition, saying remember the Amalek means remember the people that wants to do you harm, the people that are evil and wants to kill you. Remember that these people exist and you have to defend yourself and fight for your right to live. That's what it means, right? That's the idea of remember the Amalek. I can prove it very easily. So, first off, just an AI. What did the Amalek do to the Israelites? Okay, the Amalekites attacked the Israelis during the Exodus from Egypt, specifically targeting the very stragglers in the Israelite camp. This unprovoked attack, described as cruel and relentless, led God to command the Israelites to remember and ultimately destroy the Amalekites. So, what Mr. Peterson here would talk about is that it wasn't unprovoked. It was the Amalekites who were the victims, and God being genocidal and whatnot. And this kind of goes back full circle into the Palestine narrative, whereas they are portrayed as the innocent victims and the Jews are the perpetrators. That's basically where he takes this idea from of Israel being evil. That, oh no, like they're just genocidal maniacs, and they when they talk about Amalek. But from a Jew's perspective, it's not like that. They remember because like the whole culture around this story is to remember the Amalekites as the ones who are evil and doing evil to you, right? So, like, even if he's right about what the Bible says and how it's actually what it says, that's not how it is remembered in Jewish traditions, and that is the important part here. Look, this is the Hague. This is Amalek Monument, Dixons, 1967. Old Situation Gedemptgracht. Gedemptgracht. New Situation Jewish Monument, Anad Radzabi, Rabbi Marcin Plain. Let me just give you the. So this is a Holocaust memorial in The Hague. Okay, this is the Holocaust memorial in The Hague in the Netherlands. Artwork description: the successful entrepreneur Jacques Lavie Lesson, 1884 to 1962, was completely defeated when he returned to his hometown, The Hague, a year after the Second World War from his safe haven in New York. The flourishing Jewish shopping district in the heart of the city, around 2000 developed into The Hague's Chinatown, had been completely depopulated. Of the 17,000 Jews, about 2,000 remained. In memory of the old neighborhood and its inhabitants, Lassen, who was ladies' fashion merchant and a property developer, bought the properties of on Gedempte Gracht. I don't know how to pronounce Gedempte. I hope I do it right. He spent the rest of his life redeveloping the vanished neighborhood. In 1957, he set up a foundation, the Levi Lassen Foundation. His wish to erect a monument was fulfilled posthumously. On 12 October 1967, a memorial was unveiled at the opening of the foundation's new building at Gedemptegracht 40. This memorial is from the hand of sculptor Dixtens. Earlier, the sculptor made, for instance, a Delar monument for fallen comrades for the military air base in Soesterberg, 1948. As was customary at the time, he also produced a realistic relief in The Hague. It was a monument Star of David in which his father, mother, and child, in which a father, mother, and child seek protection. At the bottom of the star, the sculptor placed a seated figure. The whole thing was originally mounted together with the following text on a wall covered with white stone. And this is the important thing. What does it say there? Remember what Amalek has done to you. Do not forget it. Deuteronomy 25:17-19. Okay? Remember what Amalek has done to you. So he's talking about the evil of what was done to the Jews by the Nazis. That is how it is remembered. So when people talk about remember the Amalek today, when Jews talk about remember the Amalek, they're not talking about go around and murder them and do that and do this like they say it in word by word in the scripture. They say remember the Amalek because what they are, that they are evil, they try to do evil things to you. That's why they have this memorial remember the Amalek too, right? Where they say remember the Amalek of understanding that what the Nazis did during the Holocaust. Of course, like would you would you make the argument that Jews wanted to go and kill every single Nazi out there? Because to my knowledge, Germany and Israel are friends today, and basically, they have the saying, do forgive but do not forget, right? Do forgive but do not forget. That's the saying as well. So there's a lot of things that goes beyond what the text say verbatim. And you know what's funny? Because the ones who are reading it verbatim, reading religious scripture verbatim, and taking it to its full context, as it was 100% true, and you have to follow it even today, they are the Muslims. The one you say, oh, if you think that, oh, fuck all Muslims, you don't know what you're talking about, oh, you don't know how you think. These are the ones who actually would take something like, remember, like taking God, saying go and kill every single one of them, spare no one, as truth, and they go and do it today. They are the ones doing that. Ironically, even though the Gazans or Hamas are not bound to biblical scripture, they're bound by the Quran and Muhammad's example. They are more they are more suitable to make a comparison by the verses you read from the Bible in modern day, as they did it exactly word for word as what was ordered by the to the Israelites to do, where they killed anything that moved. They killed, tortured, and raped anything that moved, even the cattle. Yes, they are known to go around and fuck the cattle too, raping the cattle. Yes, the Palestinians are known for that. The Muslims are known for going around fucking sheep, fucking goats, to go in, break in into farms, stealing and raping goats. They are known for this, right? They don't leave anything. They don't leave anything to waste, like to get away. Lay everything to waste, capture, murder, kill anything, right? Muhammad said they are from them, meaning they like you can do whatever you want from them. All right, like it says they do exactly the thing that you what Peterson is accusing Jews of is exactly what Hamas have been doing, right? And the connotation of Amalek is not remembered the way he thinks it's remembered by Jews. It's true what they say, what Douglas Murray says. Tell me what you accuse the Jews of, and I will tell you what you're guilty of. This is exactly the point. This proves it. This Amalek statement proves it, right? He's accusing Jews of doing what God says to do to the Amalek, whereas the ones who following those verses to the T were Hamas, even though they follow the Quran, ironically. And Jews who say remember the Amalek, remember evil, right? Like when they said remember Amalek about the Nazis, I don't think that was genocidal intent of go and kill every German, right? That's like really like is that what you're gonna say next? Because that would be hilarious. Yeah. Anyway, I've been here for 2 hours now talking, and I'm not even done with this fucking video. Oh my god. So I'm gonna do a two-parter because I wanted to talk about the accusation of killing children, but I'm gonna try to finish this.
Religion to to support the idea of committing a genocide. It could be done in other ways, but religion is so good at poisoning the mind
And
because of all these
I
verses.
wonder if he ever gonna talk about the poisoning of the mind by Muslims, the ones that you crack down upon because they're just brown people and it's racism. Is he ever gonna talk about how bad Muslims are and how evil Islam is, and the poisoning of the Muslim mind, a poisoning of Islam into young people's minds, so much so that they become shaheeds, martyrs, child soldiers, willing to blow themselves up so that the parents can be proud. Is he ever going to talk about that? No.
And the justification you have to give for them. There's this dude on TikTok. I don't even know his name. I don't watch.
Justification. Yeah. Again, look at the society and justification of the Gazans. Here is a uh, great image. This is in Gaza. Okay. This is in Gaza. Do you guys see this? Do you see the store? This is a Gaza store. Do you see that one? A similar store has also been witnessed in Algeria as well. And there have been a bookstore in the Kurdish sites of Iraq that have Mein Kampf still. There's been a restaurant in the Kurdish region called Hitler as well in Iraq. So I wonder if you know what you're talking about. Of course, I don't wonder. I know you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
His videos, but I've seen a few people stitch his stuff. That's really the only reason I know why he exists. But I saw a video of him and somebody he was
I wonder
responding
if
to
this asshole is ever gonna see my live stream when I absolutely destroy his ass and go through every single line. I don't think so.
a comment somebody made about the killing of all the firstborn children in Egypt being bad. And I'm not kidding you. His response to that was they fucked around and found out. That's
Cool. So on October 7, I heard a guy say, "Let more of them get fucked." I heard a guy before October 7 saying that it was justified to go and kill every woman and child in Israel because it's collateral damage and they are from them and therefore it's justified. They are part of the whole Israeli society and civilization, and therefore they are just as bad as the IDF, and therefore they deserve to be killed. This was before October 7th. After October 7th, of course, he kept threatening Jews. He never retracted the statement. He denied that he ever said that because he's a lying piece of shit, but he kept threatening Jews. He tried to cancel me and saying that, oh, not because I threatened him and I was crazy and stuff like that, saying that, oh, I am just a bloodthirsty Jew or a bloodthirsty IDF supporter, right? So he, by the way, I'm not Jewish, but anybody who is pro Israel is by default, by these assholes, by these terrorist sympathizers, just a Jew or like a Jew disguise or something like that, right? Paid by the IDF. Like these are the assholes I'm talking about, right? I heard people celebrating on October the 7th and October the 8th saying Allahu Akbar, death to Israel, death to the Jews. I have seen them going around attacking Jews in public, going around doing programs, going around taking down posters. So your little bullshit anecdotes of people saying bad stuff is nothing in comparison with the shit that I, as a non-Jew, had to put up with over the past 2 years. Just imagine the shit that Jews have to have to deal with daily, daily with this fucking shit that you spread. Right? You are part of the problem by spreading this wild fucking blood libel shit. Fucking piece of shit.
actually how he put it. Pharaoh was the only person who had any say in whether or not Moses and his people were going to be let go.
Like this guy, who the fuck cares? Seriously, like, yes, there are Jews out there that are extremely by the book idiots. That's the funny thing. Those people are actually against Israel itself. They don't want Israel to exist. But this guy is so up in the ass about theology that he doesn't understand reality and politics, and he thinks that they go hand in hand. But if they do, then he dismisses the other side of it, which is Islam, that is very much a political ideology that cannot go without the political aspirations of it. They have a political goal. Islam is embedded in society everywhere. That's why you call yourself a Muslim. If you call yourself a Muslim, that means you're part of a political system. You're part of an ideology. You're part of the ummah, the motherhood. You're part of a big entity of Islam all around the world, and that's why they are so much for Palestine, even though they might hate each other otherwise when it comes to other political issues. When it comes to Palestine, no, according to the jihad, the entity of jihad, they have an obligation as Muslims to fight by any means, and that's why the bar of propaganda, the jihad by mouth, the jihad by pen, is prescribed for every Muslim to follow. That's why you see this propaganda. So, like this guy is talking about so much about the right wing and the affiliations to scripture that he misses one, the bigger picture of it, of war and what it entails and security of people, and two, that the other side are absolutely bound by scripture to the T. Something Jews are not. Again, I just explained this with Amalek. Right? Now, again, Christians, like there might be right wing Christians in America right now that are absolutely like full on Christians and they want to be creationists and all that. You can debate it all you want. That's fine, but this is not a topic you know anything about, and you're making your own assertions based on what you experience in America and what you don't like about American Christians. That's the problem. You don't see the difference, and you don't know what Israel, and let's be frank, the world is up against. You don't understand the enemy we have to deal with because you think that, oh, it's just racism if you speak about Islam. Fucking idiot.
But children,
Oh, here we go again with children.
People that were powerless about this were killed, and the response is they fucked around and found out. Really, if you ever have,
yeah, so you can talk about theology with people that have their head stuck up their ass all day long. Again, I don't care. What the fuck does that have to do with reality? You know what's repeated in mosques like every week? What's repeated is that if your child becomes an ex-Muslim, you have the right to kill him. A child is not allowed to go astray, otherwise you have the right to kill him. That comes right from the Quran. So this shit is repeated all the time in mosques, in Islamic society. But you don't want to talk about that, do you? You're just going to talk about people making stupid assertions because they don't want to admit that the book that they follow is not as great as they thought. Whereas in Islam, all these things, they actually think it's good, right? Like all these things that, like, Muslims, a lot of them actually respect the old Christians that you hate so much, the ones that followed Christianity to the T and did all these atrocities, right? They actually love that shit because they say, "Oh, now you're not hypocrites; you're following what God ordered you." So these are the people you're dealing with, the people who actually follow God, the genocidal God, to the T and think there's nothing wrong with that. And if you go astray, you're a heretic, you're a hypocrite, and you're not really following God. Those are the Muslims. Right?
A conversation with somebody about this kind of thing, simply ask them if they think a justice system, a judicial system in America that operated that way would be good. Ask them if they think it would be appropriate for somebody who committed a crime to take random members of their family and have them punished. Really,
What the fuck is he even talking about right now? We talking about Israel, Gaza, and he's talking what the fuck is he even saying right now? What kind of point does that have to do with the Israel Gaza? You want to talk about punishing people and putting people in prison? There are still people taken hostage inside Gaza, and so-called civilians are not even allowing them to get out because they want to have them as slaves, sex slaves, house slaves, right? What are you even talking about right now? Criminals and what? What is this?
anyway. I mean, you can say killed, but any kind of, but like a fine the children of somebody for committing a crime. Or
Yeah, so again, the blood libel and Jews going after the children because they're evil. Yeah, no, that's not how it's viewed. That's not how they see it. Right? You're not like, if I were in power of Israel, I would not be as merciful as Benjamin Netanyahu. I'm just saying. Uh, Netanyahu is very merciful, and he sees the difference and the nuances between the people that he's fighting and the innocent that are in between. And no, it's not just because you're born a Palestinian and you're a child of Palestinian that you're condemned by Israel, that you're now evil. No, no, no. The ones who are condemning their own children is the Palestinians. They are the ones saying, "Oh, look, we have a Palestinian baby. Let's make a shaheed out of him, a martyr out of him, somebody who will die for the cause and be proud to go to heaven." So, like, I can't with this guy. Every single fucking sentence of this guy is bullshit. He doesn't know this conflict at all.
you can just very generically ask them,
It's not generic. Again,
is it ever appropriate to punish somebody for a crime they didn't commit? I've never.
what are this? Okay, so again, he doesn't understand the concept of war. He doesn't understand that this is war, right? You don't understand that, like, the society versus society in a clash of civilization, of one indoctrinated to its fullest to kill every single Jew and shouting Allahu Akbar, and the other one saying we had enough of this shit. You don't get that. You don't get that, right? You don't understand it. The like again, Nazi Germany. Not every German was a Nazi, but they were part of Germany. They were part of the Nazi order, so to speak. It's very, very hard in war. You don't like war? Well, tell your Hamas friends to give up the hostages, to shut the fuck up, and tell Hamas to surrender. Right? You do that. Tell your friends to stop spreading the blood libel. Stop, stop putting handcuffs on Israel, saying you cannot do this, you cannot do that, you're evil. When in fact, every single point of the past 2 years now, we have seen actual progress. We have seen more aid. We have seen less rockets. We have seen less deaths. Yes, less deaths of civilians, and we've seen less control of the narrative. Israel is winning, and Hamas are losing badly, and they're desperate for control. They want to try to seize the last grasp they have of the region, and they know they're losing. How about flooding the tunnels? Stop hiding in tunnels. Stop. How about release the hostages from the tunnels? Stop using children as an escape and as human shield to try to portray yourself as victims, while at the same time going around attacking Jews on broad daylight in America and the rest of the world, like in Paris, like in Australia, like in Britain. Yes, people have died because of this, right? Because there's programs against Jews right now. Asshole.
Never once had anybody say yes to that, but then they make excuses for when it happens in the Bible. See, these people, their brain does work. They
Yeah, your brain doesn't work right now because you're talking about things in the Bible because you want everything to have connotations to extremism. Oh, these people extreme. Whereas you don't see the new again nuances and you don't understand this is war. You don't understand the ones who are brainwashed by what this book says are not the Jews but the Muslims. And when Jews reference the Bible, it's not that they are doing it by the T, right? By the way, it's not the Bible for Jews, but whatever. Yeah, they don't reference their text by the T and saying, "Oh, this is how you have to do." No, this has never been like that. All right. Remember, the Amalek has a very different connotation in Jewish traditions than you think, and you should fucking learn that.
are better people than their beliefs, than what their Bible says.
Yeah, and Muslims are not better people than what the Quran says because want, they believe that when they do what the Quran says, that they are the best of people, right? They believe that they achieve victory when they follow the Quran to its fullest.
Because they don't actually believe these kinds of things for the most part.
Yes, and again, Jews believe the Amalek differently than what the book says. And that's how it's remembered.
These are these abstract hypotheticals. They have no choice. They're not being confronted with a real situation. In reality, I can't imagine them going along with it, but it only takes a few. They simply have to go along with everything in it because their identity is wrapped in it. They're fully committed to everything within this book being good. The book is the source.
Yeah, this would be very much a good point if you talked about Muslims, right? When Islam says go and kill, they think it's good because Islam commands you to kill because Allah says go and kill, therefore it's good. To think that this is true for Jews, this just spills over to anybody who's a theist, is not applicable here. Because again, Israel is not like a theocratical state. It's not. And the traditions of Judaism is not word for word, verbatim, but the Bible says, again, you don't get that. The ones who are actually doing it by the T are the Muslims.
Of good. I've had countless conversations.
This guy is so stuck up his ass with theism versus atheism that he thinks that everybody is just in a box like that. Like, oh, like the Christianity is evil, Judaism is evil to its core, and look how bad it is. He doesn't understand that politics involving this war has jack shit to do with this when it comes from the Israeli perspective. It has everything to do with this when it comes to the Islamic perspective, however. Something that he neglect, right? Fully neglect.
About this kind of thing. There's the when Noah's flood, for example.
Oh my fucking god! Nobody gives a fuck about
the
this
excuse
shit.
I always hear from.
Okay, he's just gonna.
It's called making shit up. But this narrative is
that's what you're doing right now. By the way, every single thing that you've referenced so far has been you making shit up. Or let's be honest, it's you reiterating, repeating other people that has making shit up, and you just retweeting it, repeating it, saying, "Oh, look what this guy said. Look how bad this guy is. Oh, look how evil they are." But this is you making shit up, and you repeating what other people has been making shit up.
Go to heaven anyways. There's an academic term.
Yeah, again,
like God can do whatever they want, or it's fine because the kids automatically go to heaven anyway.
Yes. This is true for Islam. This is why you have martyrs, shaheeds, children going around and killing themselves, going with Kalashnikovs against soldiers, throwing rocks at soldiers, right? Being child soldiers for Hamas because they're gonna go to heaven anyway, and their parents are very proud of it, right? Like every single thing he says about this conflict is true for the opposite side, more so than Israel would ever be. But he never ever admits that, acknowledges that, or even dares to go there and even an ounce of criticism towards that mindset and that culture.
Ways. There's an academic term for this. It's called making shit up.
Yes, yes, you're making shit up. Good that you know. This guy is so full of shit and so hypocritical. It's unbelievable. He has a book called Facts That Aren't True, and he's making shit up.
But this is what you get with this kind of stuff. And
Yeah, this is what you get with assholes like you. I can't listen to this.
Wrong. You don't just disagree with them. They are told the narrative is that it is a cosmic battle over good versus evil.
Yeah, Islam doesn't have good versus evil. Islam has we are the dominance, might makes right. Therefore, we have to fight, and Allah is testing us. And until everything is Islam, then we cannot have peace. So they don't give a fuck about good versus evil. Whereas at least, even though you I'm not full on this. I don't care about I don't care about the Bible, but at least Jews and Christians have a concept of what is good and what is evil. Islam doesn't have that, right? At least they have, even if you would say that this is misconstrued and it actually doesn't follow or it doesn't make sense because God Himself is not moral. At least Jews and Christians have understanding of, right? Do not kill our emotional, like do we understand when something is good and when something is bad? When something is good, and we understand that if somebody comes and tries to kill you and your children and shouting Allahu Akbar and slit your throats and doesn't care who it hurts, going around raping you, that's bad and you should do something against that. They understand that this is evil. That's the understanding of Amalek, that Amalek is evil. That's the understanding. Islam doesn't have that understanding. Do you ever gonna speak about how bad Islam is, Mr. Peterson, or are you just gonna have your head stuck your ass and get praised by your fellow sleazy motherfucking friends?
Other people aren't just wrong. You don't just disagree with them. They are literally on the side of evil. And therefore, apparently,
no. The reason they are on the side of evil is because they're doing evil things. That's why. And because they follow Islam, which is deemed to be evil, because Islam doesn't have a concept of evil, because anything they do is good by default because they're Muslims. Right? That's what it's about. You have to look at the other side. But no, according to you, you stupid dumb fuck, I am as bad as Osama bin Laden. Idiot.
Apparently, it's okay to kill kids.
Okay, so you know what? This motherfucker talks about killing kids all this fucking time. And I'm so tired right now. But this is another blood libel, right? Because when I first came up to him, he said that Israel kids kill kids deliberately, and this is another lie. But I am gonna do a part 2 on this, and I'm gonna expose this just about the myth about killing kids, nothing else but about like Israel killing kids, and expose this shit because this has to stop. Oh, yeah, I need a break. Anyway, for those listening, thank you for staying and listening. Thank you for supporting. And I hope that I made sense. And if I haven't, please tell me why. If you're a Palestinian supporter, please send this message to Mr. Peterson and tell him to go fuck himself if he doesn't want to have a debate with me. Because I would really much love to debate him about this and show him that he's nothing but a fucking uptight asshole that thinks that his shit doesn't smell, and he's wrong about this. But thank you for following and supporting. Till next time, I'm gonna be. I think tomorrow I'm gonna do the follow up on this because I'm not done yet until I poke this lie about killing kids. This needs to be addressed. So again, fuck Hamas, fuck Palestine, fuck Gaza, and long live Israel. Bye bye.